Hi, I'm Bob Stahl, and I want to welcome you to this week's Vblog. I'm honored to be sharing this Aliveworld community of mindfulness, anxiety, and stress with my dear colleague and friend Elisha Goldstein. I'd like to start by reading a poem from Hafiz. Hafiz was a Persian poet, and really I just love the writings of Hafiz. And this one is called "It Felt Like Love." How did the rose ever open its heart and give all its beauty to the world? It felt the encouragement of the light against its being, otherwise we'll all remain much too frightened. This poem speaks to me about the courage of opening into our hearts, even in the midst of fear, anxiety, pain. This learning to turn into the skid, to turn into our hearts, whether it's filled with fear or love. What's holding us back? The spirit of this poem is talking about what holds us back. And yet with the rose, it felt the encouragement of the light, even against its being. It felt the encouragement of the light, even against its being. Otherwise, we'll all remain much too frightened. And by opening, feeling that encouragement of the light against our being, the rose opened into a beautiful flower. So perhaps this week I'd like to invite us all to look at what we might be holding back from. What is the possibility if we could begin to feel the encouragement of the light of our own love and compassion? The importance of healing ourselves, of turning into our fears, into our pains, into our hearts, and there we will discover our healing. I know this perhaps at times feels scary, maybe even counterintuitive, and of course, let us take care of ourselves and take care in such a way that we don't want to hurt ourselves or go over our edges, yet at the same time want to invite us to work towards our edges, for this is where the expansion lies, where the growth continues. Turning into the skid. I know it might feel counterintuitive. When I was a young man with my driver's license, growing up outside of Boston in the winter, my car would continuously get into skids. And my impulse was to turn away from the skid, to try to get out of the skid's way, if you will. And yet the more that I turned away from the skid, the more I skidded out, until one day my father said, "Bob, if you want to get out of the skid, you got to turn into it." And that very thought scared me. I felt this was counterintuitive, and so I didn't believe him, and I kept on turning away. As time went on, I kept on turning away until I discovered one day, finally, that turning away was not going to resolve this problem, and so I ventured to turn into the skid. And lo and behold, to my surprise, my astonishment, I couldn't believe it, my car began to straighten out. It was a powerful learning that day of turning into the fear. And so I'd like to invite us all, turning into our hearts, may we be at peace. So let's just end with a very short meditation. And taking a moment, just sitting wherever you are, feeling that sense of balance and symmetry, feeling awake and present. Feeling into our bellies, into our hearts, into our minds. And may we be at peace. And what would it be like, even in this moment, to turn into perhaps an area that feels on edge, feels uncomfortable? And what would it be like to dip our toes slowly into its waters, dipping in and dipping out, acknowledging whatever's present within and letting it be? May we gradually learn that by turning into our hearts that we will discover greater peace and greater compassion. May each of us be at peace. May all beings be at peace. Thank you and have a good week. And if you have questions, please do feel free to contact us through the Aliveworld website. Thank you. Be well. Have a good day.